Are you a self-storage facility owner or manager looking to attract more customers and boost your business? Look no further than the Storage Group, the ultimate solution for your online marketing needs. The Storage Group is a digital marketing firm specializing in cutting-edge self-storage technology products and services. We ensure industry success and improve customer experience through website design, digital marketing services, search engine optimization, and software development for the storage industry. And the Storage Group's Click and Store is self-storage's only rental suite. This is more than a rental tool. Click and Store Online Rental Suite is an extensive platform that optimizes revenue, enhances rental security, and increases your facility's visibility. We pioneer, innovate, and create. Our experts develop proven digital marketing strategies catered to your needs. With extensive search marketing research, we drive client success through their websites. Contact us for more information at www.storageinternetmarketing.com or call 407-680-2235.
Are you a self-storage owner or operator looking for service providers to help at your facility? Well, the Storage Business Owners Alliance, also known as the SBOA, has you covered. The SBOA is a premier online hub for connecting self-storage owners and operators to industry-leading products and service providers. We provide one-stop shopping for your business with exclusive offers to save time and money. At the SBOA, we believe by coming together, we help owners and operators grow revenue, gain purchasing power, reduce expenses, improve efficiencies, and increase profitability. We also offer many resources such as our conferences and Self-Storage Unlock webinars to help self-storage owners and operators gain the knowledge needed to become more competitive in the industry. To become an SBOA member or to find out more information, please visit www.thesboa.com today. We can't wait for you to join the Alliance.
Well, good morning. How is everyone doing today? Thank you for joining us for another episode of Self-Storage Unlocked. Today, our topic is how to maximize your online visibility. I'm Iris Czygan, president of the Storage Business Owners Alliance, better known as the SBOA, and I am coming to you today from the Texas Self-Storage Association Conference in Austin, Texas. And before we get started and I bring our guests on stage, I would just like to go over a couple of housekeeping items for you. If you do have questions for the speakers today, please ask those in the chat. You can see some people have been active already. And we'll also be putting in some poll questions into the chat, and you'll see them pop up on the screen as well, down at the bottom where that ticker is.
Please take a second during the presentation. We'll only have 4 poll questions. If you can answer those for us, it really helps us better assist you as our audience and helps us gauge where we're at with our webinars and what is good information for you. And that is pretty much everything. I'm going to just go into we have the storage group with us today, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up Jeanne Dotson. There she is. Hi, Jeanne. How are you?
Hello. How is everybody?
Well, I don't know about you, but I am like overwhelmed right now. Time change, everything else. I'm just glad I got here and got everything going as it should be.
Well, we're excited to talk about this topic and share our knowledge. So.
Yeah, well, and it's always a great topic. People, especially right now, everyone wants to know. It's very competitive. What's the best way to get your name out there? Mm-hmm. And if you want to tell everyone a little bit about the storage group, I know we played a video at the beginning, but some people may have missed it.
Sure. We're a digital marketing agency, and we focus in self-storage as well as boat and RV storage. So our team of experts helps you to really have a strong digital presence. That means your website, being able to rent or reserve online with Click and Store that integrates with the top property management systems. It means getting people to your site, whether it's SEO like we're going to talk about, or pay-per-click, reputation management, local listings, all those things. So we are a digital marketing shop that focuses on this industry.
That's great. All right, I'm going to take you off stage for a second and we'll introduce Jason. Hi, Jason. How are you today?
Hi, Iris. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Do you want to tell everybody about what you do at the storage group? And what
Sure. So I'm an SEO specialist at the storage group company. And so I mainly work with the client's websites, changing elements here and there to optimize it so that they're more visible, when people are searching for, self-storage on Google or Yahoo or Bing. So that's sort of like my main task at the company.
Fantastic. All right. I'm going to just go ahead and jump in. I'm going to bring Jeanne back. And are you ready? Do you want me to bring the slideshow up now, or you have a little something else you wanted to go over first?
No, we can bring up the slideshow. Jason and I we compiled some of the most frequently asked questions that we get, and we put them on the screen so that you can kind of know, and it kind of guides you through the process, whether you have just heard about SEO or if you've done it. So it kind of takes you through it. So Jason's going to field the first few questions, and then I will take some, and we'll switch back and forth. Okay. So Jason, let's get into what is search engine optimization for those that are a bit new to this idea.
Yeah, and I think that's a really fitting place to start to have a conversation about SEO, because that's really a key driver of how to rank your website and make it visible on SERPs. And I'll go through these acronyms as well in a little bit. So SEO, it stands for search engine optimization, and it is the process of improving your website's content and structure to really help search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, and many other search engines out there to find and rank your websites higher on the search engine result page, which is called SERPs, SERPs. And if you're not familiar with SERPs, it is the page that shows up with links to many websites after you have hit that enter key on the search box, right? So that's called SERPs. By optimizing various aspects of your website, SEO helps search engines to understand the context and the content of your pages, and make it easier for them to determine how relevant your website is to specific search queries that your users are making. And so the ultimate goal here for SEO is to improve your website ranking on the SERPs page, which is crucial because the higher the ranking on SERPs, it leads to an increase in organic traffic. That means you can attract more visitors to your website. You don't have to rely on paid advertisement, which will be fund that will come out of your pocket. So it's a free way of making your website visible to potential customers.
Right. It defines what your site is. So when people are looking, and Google, at like the search engines, their whole thing is they want to give the most relevant options for people when they do a search. So let's go on to the next question. Thank you for breaking that down. I know a lot of people hear about SEO, but may not have understood it fully. So my question is, why is SEO so important?
Right. And before I kind of answer that question, I do want to mention a couple of things which I should have mentioned earlier. The first thing is, as we go through have these conversations, there'll be a lot of like technical terms specific to SEO. And if you're new to it, then obviously you're not going to be too sure what that means. Please go ahead and put it on the comments or the chat, and one of us can attend to that. The second thing that I want to point out is that a lot of the examples that I'll be giving you during this conversation will be based on Google search engines, just because it is the most widely used search engine globally, not just in the States. And so I feel like, that's more relatable for many of our audiences here who have used Google compared to any other search engines. So going back to your question about the importance of SEO, and that's a great question because, okay, we now know what SEO is. Why is it so important, especially for our business? And to answer this question, I want to step back and think about sort of like our traditional way of advertising, right? Where do you typically see ads? They're on billboards along busy highways. They're on TV on prime time and a major sporting events, and you name it. They're big, they're noticeable, right? So the question is then, why are they placed in these spots, right? And the answer is very simple, because they're highly visible to people. The more people see them, the more likely they're going to take interest in it and take action, whether they're going to call you guys or make a purchase on the items that they're advertising. If they don't see your ads, they do not know if you even exist, right? And
or
so
SEO, or your organic ranking. So
right.
Yeah.
And SEO works in a very similar way, but in the digital space, right? It's all about visibility, getting your business in front of people who are actively looking for your product or services that you're providing, right? So when your website ranks high on search engine result pages, it's like having a prime advertising spot, and that visibility drives more traffic to your websites. Just think about your own experience when you're using Google and you're looking up something, right? When you type in something on the search box and you hit that enter button, Google's going to show you a list of relevant websites. Without even scrolling down or moving your mouse, you can already see, 3-4 websites that are related to your search queries. And those are the most visible websites, right? And so the higher the rank or position on the search, the more likely it is to attract clicks and traffic. I'm going to throw in some data here at this point, just to give you some more context. If you look at the 2024 click-through rate data by Google ranking position, the link in position 1 gets almost 40% of the clicks, which I personally thought that it was pretty low. I thought it might be like around 70 or 80, but 40% compared to a position in 4, which is only 7%. So that's a significant drop, and it shows how important it is to aim for those top spots.
Yeah, it's no longer the case of field of dreams. If you build your website, they will come. You have to let the search engines know what you are, what you offer, where you're located, all of that to bring people in.
Yeah, and it's a very strategic way of sort of like positioning yourself and doing some back work to ensure that when our potential customers are searching for something, you can pop up in the first 4 or 5 position. Now, does it mean that if you're not positioned in that top 4 or 5, it's the end of the story? No. As long as you're ranking the first page, in the SEO side of it, we say that it's doing pretty well, right? But again, you always want to aim for that top, 1 to 5 positions for sure.
Yep. Let's go on to the next one. We want to make sure we get through some different questions, because there's going to be people that have more, are more familiar with it. So can you switch to the next slide, Jason?
Oh, yes, for forgot that I was in control of that.
You're in control. So the other thing is, okay, so when you look at a SERP page, which is, of course, the search engine result page, where are the organic rankings and listings as opposed to paid listings and different things we've been talking about?
Yeah, sure. So the organic ranking appears in the main section of SERP, just below any paid advertisement. And the reason why the paid advertisement is always on the top is because that's sort of like their Google's mainstream of income. And so they're going to take priority on those. So right below those paid advertisement, we'll have organic search results. It could be in many different forms depending on the type of query that the user is making. Most of the times it'll be just a list of website links. Sometimes there'll be local packs, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a little bit. And there's also something called feature snippet. To kind of go over a little bit more about feature snippet, it's these boxes that appear at the very top of SERP. And it provides sort of like a quick answer to some specific questions you may have. For example, if you're searching for, how to bake brownie, the feature snippet will have a brief description of, how long it will take for you to, bake brownie, the star reviews. It might have a list of recipes. So it will give you a short information about that. And also you can click into that website. So these are just various layouts.
Google tests different layouts because they're constantly seeing how people and monitoring how people are searching, what they're clicking on, what they're not. And so you will see them test from time to time. And that's why as people's search habits change, Google will in turn also maybe change the layout.
Right.
So now that we have a good understanding of SEO and we've done some what do we do to rank higher on the SERPs? What's next? What's the next thing?
Yeah. So now that once you optimize your website, you definitely want to keep track of the performance of your SEO effort, your SEO strategies, right? This will help you determine if your SEO strategy is working and being successful. And if it's not, then obviously you want to kind of go back to the drawing board and come up with new strategies to make sure that your SEO effort is helping your website to be more visible and ranking on the higher ranking position. So, there are many different metrics that SEO specialists will use. I'm only going to talk about maybe 4 or 5 of them for the sake of time. The first one, the metric is organic traffic. And you can monitor this through Google Analytics 4, which is a free tool offered by Google. And you can see how effective your content is attracting visitors from search engines. The second metrics that you want to sort of keep track of is the keyword ranking. This is also very important because they show how visible your site is for target search terms. If your keywords are ranking well, it means that more potential customers are finding your site. The third metric that I want to talk about is the click-through rate, which I briefly talked about earlier. This helps gauge the effectiveness of your title tag and your meta description. And to clarify what these two are, the title tag is the clickable link, the text you see on the search result page, and the meta description is the short snippet right below that clickable link. You want the verbiage in both of these to be very clear and compelling enough for that user will click into your website. But it's also very important to make sure that the content on these pages matches what the title and the meta description promises. And this sort of leads us to the next metric, which is the bounce rate. It's the percentage of visitors who land on a web page and then leave without engaging or interacting with any other pages on your website. There could be many reasons why users will, leave right away. But one common reason why people leave is because they don't find the information they expected based on what they read on the title tag and the meta description. So again, it's very crucial that these elements, meta tag or title tag, meta description, and the content of your page all aligns and all relevant to what
what
each
it
of
is
them
you
are
offer.
saying. Yeah, definitely.
You switch the slide.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jason, I'm going to be answering this one. So in search engine optimization, I get this a lot. Is it still relevant when it comes to marketing your self-storage facility? And I always tell people, because there's always these random articles, SEO's dead. No, don't believe it. Google is the king. Google is huge, and that's how a lot of people find local businesses especially. And we know that the self-storage industry is really hyper local. You're trying to get people within a certain radius usually of their homes. So local is very important when it comes to it. And SEO is a great way where you can help to get your facility to rank higher when people are searching for local businesses. There are different components that can work together. You can make sure that you're using relative keyword terms. We'll go into how to do research and some different terms. But what are people calling storage? Is it mini storage? Do a lot of people refer to it as that? Is it self-storage? You want to improve your local listings. We're going to go into the Google Business Profile, but it tells everything about your facility, and it really gives you an opportunity to show how well, photos and reviews and everything. And then you want to make sure you have quality content, because your local area. You want to create quality content that will help you with the search engines, especially with SEO. So having a solid SEO strategy is significant, because it can really determine the success of your local business and the local footprint you have when people are searching for storage, which leads to online rentals, which is always good.
Thank you. All right. So the next question is, we know that the self-storage industry is, highly competitive, especially when it comes to, going up against, larger, REITs that often have more resources. Can you explain how a strong or ongoing SEO strategy can help sort of like a independently owned self-storage facility compete effectively against these larger players?
Right. So people say, is it even worth it? What am I going to do? Yes, definitely you can do it. And you can do it by implementing different strategies. Like I said before, your market better than anybody. So if it's it could be that they just don't know where to geo-target within, because they might be doing SEO on more of a global, nationwide scale. So your community best. So produce valuable content, and like storage tips and guides. Show them what you offer. Do you have extra security? Is it a brand new facility? Cameras, accessibility, all those things. And so also tied into this, you can really improve your overall online presence by also encouraging positive reviews. People look at those, especially for local businesses. They want to know, is this a safe place for me to store my belongings? So you want to manage your online reputation, because that boosts your credibility, and your credibility will help you not only with search engines, but also with visitors. So you can level the playing field if you have a strong SEO plan and you really hyper focus on your market.
And Jeannie, just a little bit to expand on that, I'm wondering, does it help people's SEO when they, some of the, especially sort of these grassroots efforts where people maybe have a flea market at their facility, or they do some community events? Does that help their SEO too?
Definitely, because it shows not only are you out in the community, but and becoming a member of the Better Business Bureau and grassroots things that you can do with them. They will promote you. They're always looking for businesses to promote, so I definitely encourage those things. And that's just so that people feel comfortable with you. They know where you are and what you offer, because you're out in the community. So, having a well-rounded overall marketing plan that has grassroots efforts as well as SEO can really pay off for a long-term strategy, because we're trying to create credibility, which helps you with search engines as well as finding potential tenants.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, if you're with the Better Business Bureau, there's one more place on the internet where your name is.
Yes.
And people go to search you out to help that ranking.
And you can get those referrals. So they'll list you on their website, and then people will go and look especially if they're new to the market, and then they'll find your self-storage facility.
Awesome.
So Jason, it's back to you with question. I have a question for you. So can you explain why keyword research is so important when it comes to self-storage facilities and SEO?
Yeah, so keyword is essentially important for any type of industries, not just self-storage. It's sort of like the foundation of SEO work. And so keyword research is very important, because you really want to understand your customer, what they're thinking. What words are they using to look up your storage or storage facility in general, right? You want to be able to sort of like put yourself in their shoes and identify these terms, because you're strategically using these terms on your website so that when they're searching for something on Google, your website will pop up, right? And so that allows them to come in and learn more about your website. So keyword is definitely something that you want to spend a lot of time in researching, understanding your customer needs, so that, again, you're strategically writing your contents and laying out your contents and your pages in a way that when the visitors look up, they can find your website easily and understand exactly what you're providing. So yes, keyword research definitely needs a lot of emphasis on it.
And depending on where you are, people may call it storage lockers, storage units, like I said, mini storage, self-storage, but also you want to put your location in there. So when people are looking for Austin self-storage or different subsections that you're located in a certain area, you want to come up when people do those specific searches. So keywords, very, very important. Thank you for giving us a really good idea about how that works. Mm-hmm. And then let's go back to local SEO, because we touched on it and why it's important. Can we dig a little bit deeper in there, and can you tell us why that's so important?
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned it earlier too. Self-storage facilities, it relies heavily on local customers and community. So understanding and implementing local SEO strategies is going to be very important for your website to be visible for your clients. Local SEO is all about making sure your business shows up when people search for your services or products near them or within a specific area, like a city or a zip code. I wouldn't go about saying state, because that would be just too big, but definitely city and zip code. For example, if someone's searching for self-storage near me or self-storage units in Tucson, Arizona, Google is smart enough to know that the query that you're making is a local search. So SEO will help your facility appear in those search results, often through Google Maps or Google Local Pack. Again, Local Pack we'll talk a little bit more about in a little bit. Essentially, the goal of these local SEOs to ensure that your business is easily found by people who need that service or who need that products immediately. And usually, these local searches converts more compared to the non-local SEO, non-local searches, I should say.
Right. And a lot of time they're on their mobile devices. They're out and about and they're like, oh, I need to look up storage. I'm going to do it on my phone. I'm going to make that decision from there. So that is very important. Yeah. Jason, so now that we know about what local SEO and how it impacts self-storage, what do we do to optimize things like the Google Business Profile, which we had kind of mentioned in the graphic there, the long graphic? If you type in, well, I'll let Jason answer, but that's the Google Business Profile that we're discussing. Go ahead, Jason.
No, thank you for that introduction. So when it comes to local SEO, really what you want to optimize is, or the first thing that you want to definitely optimize is what Jeanne just mentioned, GBP, which stands for Google Business Profile. Again, this is a free tool offered by Google for local SEO because it helps your business stands out when people search for services nearby. GBP lets you create and manage a business listing that shows up in Google search and maps. So the question is then, how do you make the most out of this so that it's more visible and welcoming to our potential clients? So first, make sure your information is accurate and complete. This means, you're including your business names, addresses, phone numbers, websites, your hours of operation. And another important part is you want to be consistent with the information that you're providing here on your GBP profile matches the information that is on your website. That's very important for our customers, obviously, but also for our search engines when they are evaluating your website and the GBP. They want to make sure that these aligns to build trust with the search engine. Next thing that you might want to do is to definitely upload some quality photos of your facility. And this is not just a Google thing, it's a human thing. We tend to, we like to see pictures, and, good quality pictures will help us to build trust with those customers in the business. So make sure you have photos of your facility, your outside indoor units, your parking space, if you have like a RV or boat storage type of thing, security system, those are also a good indicator. So people just like to see, and this can make a big difference.
Yeah, it gives you kind of a. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to add, it's important not to use stock photos there.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Because no one wants to, if they see red doors in the pictures and they show up and their doors are green, first of all, they don't even know if they've gone to the right place. You want to make sure that that's all real photos.
And that can take away trust. And you're trying to, that's their personal items. So they need to feel secure in where they're going to store them. But really, it's a snapshot of your business. So you want to put your best face, your best foot forward. You want to have really quality photos that show you're secure, your beautiful location, how clean it is, how safe it is. It has links to your website, your phone number, has reviews. You can put about your business. And then even towards the bottom, it has social media posts.
Yeah.
So it really gives people a snapshot.
We do have a question. We have a quick second here. Liz asked, which keywords help a solely owned self-storage facility stand out from the others, especially when they are brand new?
Well, what you want to do is you definitely want to start with your Google business profile and get it out there, because you want people to be able to see you and find you, start getting that traffic. Jason, what do you do when clients first come on? What is the most important to get that out there?
Yeah, I think first thing to know is that, SEO is not a quick fix. It's not a quick answer, and it's not going to quickly rank you on the top. SEO takes time, and it requires patience, and it needs a lot of planning before you implement those changes to your website. And so, number one, I want to just make sure that, if you're starting new with trying to optimize your website, that you start slow and, you do your research and be patient as you're making these changes and seeing the changes on the search engine result page. I'll definitely start with, especially because, storage facility is rely heavily on local. I will definitely optimize your GBP, and along with GBP, I want to make sure that I'm using some good keywords. And there are many tools out there that will allow you to kind of like do your research on what kind of keywords have a high volume searches per week or per month. You can also use those tools to see, how competitive those keywords are, right? And so you want to find sort of like the middle ground. You don't want to use words that are so competitive, because it's going to be that much harder for you to rank those keywords. So you might want to look for some, medium volume, maybe medium competitiveness, so that you have a chance to compete against these other more established storage websites. And so that's sort of like how I would approach it. I mean, it's really hard to say, oh, this is the keywords that you should start with, because again, by region is different, and by region, the competitiveness is different.
And you can put in like even if you go in and you do a search on Google, if you scroll down, it'll say people also search. And that will give you an idea of what other people, and that'll spark ideas for keywords that you can use. So, or people also clicked on, and they'll have a list. So you scroll down towards the bottom, and Google will give you those other things, and you can then take those keywords and incorporate them on your website and in your SEO.
Yeah, and just kind of like share my experience. I have my own website that I created maybe like a year ago. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I tried my best to do some keyword research and use those keywords to create my content and my pages. Didn't know it was doing well or if it was doing correctly. I deployed the website. It was now out in the public. I waited and keep checking in to see the traffic and how well my pages were doing. After about 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be able to use Google Search Console. It's another free tool that you can use and connect it to your website. It will show you what pages are ranking and what keywords users are using to come into your website. And so at that point, you can use that to sort of, if you haven't used those keywords in your pages already, you can kind of use that as an idea and sort of, build your content around that, because those are words that are already ranking by Google.
And then one thing I just want to say before we move on, because I know we have a few more questions, but when Jason talked about this is a long-term strategy, what he means is like with pay-per-click, you can set up a pay-per-click campaign, and then your ads, once you put the stuff, set up the ads, then Google will approve them, and then they'll start running right away. However, SEO is important because you're not paying for those people. So the time and effort you put in up front is going to pay off for years and years for you.
Definitely.
So let's go into the next thing, which is the local pack, and then and how that's different. You had mentioned it on the SERPs page, but if you can go into that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so local pack is another sort of like a layout, depending on the search queries that you have, Google will put local pack layout, I guess. So the local pack is a feature on SERP that appears when someone makes a search with local intent, like, self-storage near me or a coffee shop in Tucson, Arizona. And I'm not sure why I'm keep on using Tucson, Arizona. I have like no connection to that area. You'll typically see, usually at the top of the result page, and it includes a map with 3 relevant local business listings to the search query that you made. And so each listing will show some key details like the business name, addresses, phone numbers, link to the websites, and maybe even like the hours of operation. So it's sort of like a, featured page or featured highlighting some of these top 3 websites or businesses that you're looking for. And so the local pack is very important because, obviously if you can rank your website to this local pack, then, it's going to be that much visible for the users. And the exposure. And also it's also showing that Google trusts these websites, right? And so already there, your potential customers will trust and to, contact these top 3 that are listing on the local pack. So it's a very important that, you put an effort so that you can rank on these local pack. And again, you want to start with, obviously, the GBP.
Google Business Profile, just again.
Yes.
Want to go to the next slide?
Sure. Okay. All right. So just can you walk through how Facility can effectively measure the success of SEO strategies and what specific metrics or tools they should be looking to gauge performance?
Right. So now that you put in time and effort, then you need to see, how can I tell if this is working? So SEO involves several different tracking key measurements. Jason had talked about earlier, you look at Google Analytics and you can see organic. There's different, they have the list, especially in a pie, usually a pie graph, your organic, your direct. So your organic are the non-paid listings, the organic that we get from SEO. They'll have paid ones, and that's everybody who came from your ads. And then it'll tell you how many you got from direct, which means they typed your URL in. So that tells you your branding's working because they know what to type in for your specific facility. And then referrals. So if you have a link on your Better Business Bureau site, it'll tell you how many referrals you got from other places. So that's important to look at, so you can tell right away how many organic people you're getting. And then also you can look at how you're getting your Google business profile. I'm sorry we keep hitting on this, but it's so important because it actually provides valuable data. It'll tell you how many people clicked on it, how many people called the phone number from your Google business profile, how many people visited your website, how many people went, how often it appeared, all sorts of things that you get from that. So you can really quickly and easily see how effective those things are. And it allows you to see how people are interacting with you. Are they calling? Oh, maybe there's a problem. A lot of people are calling instead of going to the website or things like that. So you can just kind of see where people are coming to you, how they're connecting with you. So if you do use, because this is a lot of work, but if you do use an external company, Jason had talked about, you want to make sure that they provide ranking reports for you. So you see which keywords are working for you. And then you can say, okay, I also want to target these words. And you can then add those to your ranking report and really try to go after those keywords. And it'll show you from month to month, you increased, you decreased, all the things, because there's fluctuations that happen. So you definitely want to do that. And then you want to, those things help you to boost your rankings in Google Maps, which we talked about how important that is because it's prime real estate at the top and you don't have a whole lot of competition around you. And then again, it comes back to you want it to be accurate because this is what people are looking at. And there's nothing that upsets them more than wrong information. If you say you're open, be open, because they will get very mad at a local business if they take the time to look it up and go, it said it was open. What's going on? And you don't want to upset people because you're just trying to get them in. So there's a lot of different things and metrics you can look in Google Analytics. You can look to see how many people you're getting from organic. You can see what terms they're using to come to you, what pages they go to. All those things will help you to know how your SEO is performing.
Absolutely. I'm going to jump in here real quick.
Sure.
Just want to remind the audience quickly that we do have 3 poll questions up. And the second question directly relates to this slide. Are you measuring your current success with your online presence? And if you are, how? To put your answer in the chat, just please put question 2 or Q2 so we know which one you're answering.
Mm-hmm.
Poll question 1 was, what is the biggest challenge you're currently facing in growing your online visibility? And poll question 3 is, what strategies or platforms have you found most effective, or what are you using, if anything, right now to reach your target audience online? And now we have a question from the audience, and that is from Gary. He said or asked, is there something out there that will give a place to start? I know this can be pretty overwhelming. Is there sort of an ABC 1, 2, 3 way of doing these things?
Sure.
What do you
There's
guys?
Webinars. There's different companies that specialize in it because we know as owners and operators, you guys have a lot on your plate. This does take time and effort. So it kind of goes into my next question too, but there's always articles. The hard thing about SEO is, like I said, Google is the big king of the sandbox, and it's just a world that, it's Google's world and we just live in it. They change things. So how they rank websites changes. They're always doing tweaks to algorithms and how they're behind the scenes, how they rank different websites. So it's important to stay up with the latest information. I know we have a monthly newsletter, and we will talk about things that are happening in the SEO industry and with search engines to help our clients. But there's webinars, there's also, seminars, all that kind of stuff. But that kind of goes into the final question. So if you decide this sounds like a lot of work, and Jason, I don't know if you want to ask the question, and I'll kind of go into what could be helpful from a company.
Yeah. So, obviously, and maybe not as obvious, but, maybe self-storage facility owners do use, third party or outsource to help them with the SEO effort. But not all SEO companies or digital marketing companies function the same way or provide, same, services to our business owners. So, when you're trying to, rely on external resources like a digital marketing company, what are some of the things that you think business owners should consider and look for that the services are provided for them?
Sure. I think one thing you need to look for is, do they know your industry? Each industry is different. Clothing, they can ship, if they ship anywhere in the United States, then they have a much larger audience. Like I said, self-storage is hyper-local. But even with boat and RV storage, it's a little bit different. Whereas hyper-local, meaning people only drive generally a certain radius from where they live for a self-storage facility, so they can access it. Boat and RV, it might be that they store their boat near the lake that they always put their boat in. So that's a little bit different. But it's good to have a company that understands the self-storage industry, because it's different than how you do SEO for doctors and dentists and anything else. So that's a starting point there. And then make sure that they provide easy to understand reports. So the web ranking report, you guys can talk about targeted keywords. You can see what they're writing so that those appear on the results page. What is the title? What is the description? Does it match what that page has? How good are they at that? This is with this industry, it's focused hyper local. So you want to look for a company that does focus on local SEO, because that's different than international, a company that is international and a company that's statewide or nationwide. All those things make a difference. You also want, because there's things you can do to try to trick search engines, but that is not a good idea, because you can get banned if you do things incorrectly. If you try to do spammy backlinks so that you quickly get to the top, but they're not really people that are really linking to you because it's a relevant source, that's not going to work. And Google can bar you or ban you. So you want to make sure that they do ethical SEO processes and initiatives. And you don't want to have to start all over again. You don't want to have to then go and have a company that does that. You also look for, you don't want people to outsource, okay? If you're paying for somebody to do your SEO, make sure that there's an in-house team that's doing it. Because, why are you paying them if they're just going to outsource it to somebody else? So just make sure they have a team that's dedicated to it, that they stay up to date so that you don't have to. So they know what Google has changed, and they do the research, and they read the articles, and they do all that stuff and keep their team informed. There's a lot of information out there, but it is an intricate thing, and there's many pieces that go into SEO.
Yeah. And if I can just add one more thing,
Sure.
The first point that you made about, finding a marketing company that understands the industry. Just to note that there are digital marketing agencies that focus on plumbing. So they specialize in just plumbing websites, right? Or websites that is about plumbing or HVAC, or storage group. We focus on, storage and RV, boat storage. But there are also digital marketing companies that doesn't have a focus. So they just take any clients regardless of what their website is about. And so you really want to know, if you're going in that route, you really want to know if they have those background knowledge and understanding of this industry. Before
each industry is very different. And so they would have to do a lot of research on their end to get familiar with it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, Jennifer has a question. She said, if we're using an outside marketing company, what other information should they be providing us monthly other than the keyword ranking?
Yeah. I think every companies have different reports that they provide. I think, keyword ranking is very important to see how your keywords, targeted keywords are doing. But you can, some companies also provide, with the position ranking, right?
Mm-hmm.
From this month for a current month, comparing to this month to the previous month, how's my website position, or where's my website being positioned in the search result page. Again, you can look at the organic traffic numbers. Has that been increasing or decreasing? So again, like the different metrics that we mentioned earlier during our conversation, those are essentially the things that is good to know for a business owners to see, if the SEO, the investment that you're putting in is paying off, essentially.
Yeah. Because with those reports, they can look at the data from different places. So they can say, of your targeted keywords, 60% are in the top position, 30% are in 2 through 10, or just different ranges. So you can look at it stores the data with some of these reports. So you can look at it from different ways. So you can see, okay, I see that it's making a difference. And like I said, there's going to be fluctuations, but then you have somebody always watching it and saying, okay, but we can't overreact, because if you make too many changes, that can mess you up too. It really is a long-term strategy. And I don't mean to make it sound, I wish I could give very clear answers. There's a lot that goes into SEO. So we're trying to break it down, but it is a big field.
Yeah.
And that 2,000-piece puzzle,
Yes, it is. And sometimes you have to step back and see the whole thing, but sometimes you have to focus on the little pieces too. So yeah.
And we're not the one that created the game, right? It's Google. We're playing their game, so we need to kind of make adjustment as we go, as they change their minds, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely not easy. It does take a lot of time and effort, careful planning for sure.
But like I said, if you start off doing that for years, you can get traffic without having to pay for that, without having to do it. Builds upon itself. And the better you get at it, the more the search engines reward you. So for years, you can see that investment paying off for you.
Yeah, definitely. I do kind of want to circle back to Jerry, because it looks like he just really doesn't even know where to start here. So if you had someone new to SEO, what would be your first piece of advice to them? Like, what's the first thing you think they should do?
What do you think, Jason?
I guess I'm trying to determine, if you're in a position of learning SEO, or you're a business owner and you want to start optimizing your website. I think depending on which one it is, I think the answer may be a little bit different. Gary, if you can clarify that.
Yeah, I think it depends. I would start actually by how you learn best, because there are videos that can help you and kind of break things down. There's books, and there's, like we said, websites, there's white papers. It is really an extensive thing. It's not here's step one. It's not putting a table together where it's, even if it's IKEA and there's a million pieces, it still has that. It's a lot of different factors that have to work together. So that's why we tried to identify, okay, it's important to start with I guess your Google business profile. That's free.
Yeah.
So you can claim your Google business profile, and then you can start with that. And what is your name? What is your phone number? What is your website? And it's kind of like, it starts Google knowing about your business. And then build from there and write articles that have to do with storage, self-storage tips. And, you know, if it's seasonal things, or if you're out in the community promoting that, it's, you know, social media, it's all those things all work together to try to get people to your website. But I would also say, once you do get them there, you know, people that search online want to complete a transaction. And there's certain generations that want to walk into a self-storage facility, and there's others that want to do everything online. Like, I have a younger brother and sister, and they just want to do everything online. So make sure your website has that. Make sure it functions, and then you can pay your bill online a lot of times. I know we create websites that even have us an app, so you don't even have to remember the URL. You can just download the app once you get storage, and then you can go to it right away, pay your bill, whatever. Okay. So there's a lot of different things out there. You just really have to take a look.
And Gary did answer you, Jason. He said he's an owner trying to look over the shoulder of a third party and keep them accountable.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then I think you need to be familiarized with any type of reporting that they provide. And, you know, if they are just sending you a report via email and just call it a day, and you want to really understand what these data is about and what they're speaking, then, you know, demand an in-person meeting or a Zoom meeting or a virtual meeting with them to have them sort of like walk you through each step and each, you know, data point, and make sure that they talk about the changes that has been made due to some of the SEO strategies that they have implemented. And I think just by looking at those changes that are being made, you can kind of see, you know, if, you know, that their effort is actually paying off and your investment is paying off. But like Jeanne mentioned many times, you know, there's fluctuation, and it could be for many reasons. It could be for seasonal reason. It could be for some other reasons. So just because, you know, last month it was position 1, but this month is dropped down to like position 3, it doesn't mean that they did a horrible job, right? It could be for, again, different various reasons. But so you don't want to just compare it to last month, but maybe like year over year. You know, last year around this time, how was my website doing compared to this month? How is my website performing?
Right. Yeah, and if you're paying somebody, you should be able to ask questions about it. Yeah. So definitely ask your questions and make sure you're getting what you need.
Yeah, and I think what Jason just said too is important to note, that just because there's a fluctuation doesn't mean they haven't done their job correctly. And, you know, let's say you're in a college town area, obviously your season is going to fluctuate dramatically. And you know, that's just an example, but I think year over year is really important to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. So we hope this was helpful. We tried to break it down. I know it can be a lot. That's why we were trying to address some of the questions that we get asked over and over again, and trying to reassure people. So hopefully that accomplished it.
I'm going to ask one more quick question.
Sure.
Not on mute here. Okay. Can you share an example of a time when just making a small adjustment to someone's online visibility strategy led to significant results?
This could be very simple. Correcting the zip code. So if you put 1 digit wrong number on the zip code, it's going to completely, you know, take you out to a different area, right? And so if someone from your local area is searching with that, it's not going to show up, right? It's going to show up that else. It's not going to come up to their to their Google search engine result page. And so that is a huge deal. And again, this kind of goes back to being consistent and making sure that these are accurate when you do update your local SEO, your GBP. Make sure it's accurate and consistent throughout anywhere that is publicly available.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great example.
Yeah, that is. And it's very easy to do these things, you know, it is very easy.
It's just, those are little details. And I know putting together a new website can be very overwhelming, and or someone else is putting your website together for you and they don't even realize there's a typo in the, you know, in there. So that's where it's really good to double check every line of the page, but certainly the addresses and phone number will be a very big deal.
Sure.
Well, this has been wonderful. We have already filled up an hour. I can't believe it. Thank you, Jason and Jeanne, so much for being here today.
Sure.
I do want to let the audience know that the slide presentation that they brought here will be in the resources folder. You'll get an email either later today or sometime tomorrow with a link to a resource folder. It will have this presentation
Jason,
as
can
well.
you go to the last slide?
Oh,
Sorry.
about that. Oh, yeah. Here you go. There's a QR code. You can get in touch with them. And you'll also get the replay. Everyone who registered can see the replay. Of course, if you're one of our SBOA enhanced members, you can go right to the membership site and see all of our replays from this year and get the resources right there. You don't even have to wait for the email. And I'm going to go ahead and take you guys off screen and just go over some final notes for the audience here. Thank you again so much for being here today.
It was great.
Appreciate
Great conversation.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Okay, audience, I want to let you know a few things that are coming up. Oh, Gary, I hope you saw that contact information, but you will also get that in your email that will be followed up on. A few things coming up. Currently, I am in Austin, as I mentioned earlier, at the TSSA show. So if you are here today or tomorrow, the trade show runs today from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. SBOA and SBOA tenant insurance will be at booth 825. Please be sure to stop by. I love putting a face to a name and shaking hands. And we have some fun Halloween gifts to give everyone. Also, if Jeanne did mention toy storage, if you are a toy storage owner or operator or investor, or you're looking to get into that, the Storage Group and SBOA and SBOA Tenant Insurance will be at the Toy Storage Nation Executive Workshop next week in Naples, Florida. You can find their website online, Toy Storage Nation, and that will be next Friday at November 1st. It's an all-day workshop. I think it goes from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. So tons of information there. And there will be another speaker there from the Storage Group. And lastly, we will be back for Self-Storage Unlocked in 2 weeks. That will be Thursday, November 7th. And we will be talking about streamlining and growing your business by outsourcing some self-storage. And we'll be talking to Christian Thurgood, James Thurgood, and Devin Meinhardt from Zion Call Management, and Ty Meinhardt from Storage Unit Accounting. And you'll get all those links, like I said, in that follow-up email. Lots of information going out there. I appreciate everyone coming in today, and I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you in 2 weeks if we don't see you later today.